Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, y'all know that the Black Manosphere has been on my list for some time now, ever since I've been on social media and found out what their mentality towards Black women was. But today, I'm giving a shout out to the Black Manosphere. So, shout out to the men of the Black Manosphere because they have been more instrumental than anything in the liberation of Black American women. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. So the way it came across to me, the Black Manosphere space was originally built to diminish Black women, but it ended up expanding Black women's global visibility, desirability, and options. And I just want to thank them again for letting the world know that Black women ain't shit and that Black men have all these options and that they ought to get their passports and go all around the world looking for women that are good enough for them. So I want to thank the Black Manosphere for that. So here's the background. For decades, Black women assumed they were aligned with Black men in the struggle for progress, family, and community. The belief was we're building together, we're fighting the same fight, we're on the same team. But history shows us that that alignment wasn't symmetrical because Black women were thinking one thing and Black men were thinking something entirely different. And this is where the turning point came. Loving versus Virginia. This is where the historical shift took place. Now, Cynthia G., whom so many men can't stand, said that the only thing that Black men have ever truly fought for was their right to marry white women. Now, that's what she said. But it does seem like that's when the shift came. When interracial marriage became legal nationwide in 1967, it opened a door. But only one side walked through that door in large numbers. Black men began interracial relationships at roughly double the rate of Black women. And they brag about this. They can get more white women than Black women can get white men. Now, let me quickly point out that there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing that. There is nothing wrong with that. I think people should be with whomever they want to be with because that's where they're going to be the happiest. The problem comes in when you try to weaponize your access to white women or other races of women against Black women as if Black women are not desirable enough for you or good enough for you. That's where the problem comes in. Now, this happened much later than 1967 when the internet blew up. That's when we found out that this is how Black men truly felt. And the reason that the internet has been so powerful in this discourse is because before social media, Black women didn't have access to the private conversations Black men were having about them. Many Black women still believed the community was aligned. But the disconnect was happening, and part of it was how they spoke so disrespectfully about Black women. Still, Black women didn't get the message, but the conversations were being held behind closed doors and in their dating patterns and in the way they spoke so fondly and so glowingly over other races of women and how they spoke so disparagingly about Black women. It took Black women a long time to catch on. And whenever anybody got up the nerve to challenge them about the negative attitudes that they had towards Black women, they started making excuses. They started screaming about feminism. Black women were listening to white women. There's never been a time when Black women trusted white women enough to let them interfere with their home. And then they started talking about welfare. Welfare took black men out of the home. Black women said they didn't need black men. Yeah, black women said in the 90s, after it got out of hand, I don't need a man to help me do bad. I can do bad all by myself. So they'll say the first part of it, but they won't say the second part of it. And no woman needs a man to help her do bad. And this whole idea about welfare taking the man out of the home, no self respecting man would let a welfare check take him out of his home, away from his wife and children. And if you are so weak that a welfare check could take you out of your home, you're not strong enough to lead that family anyway. So the internet brought everything to a head. When the internet arrived, the private became public. All those things that black men had been saying about black women for years behind closed doors became YouTube channels where they got on their podcasts and they let the world know what they thought about black women. And this is a subset of black men. I'm talking specifically about the Black Manosphere. They let it be known that they didn't desire black women, that black women weren't marriageable, that non black women were superior partners to black men. This wasn't new behavior, but it was newly visible. They didn't just start thinking this, but now they were emboldened enough to let the world know this is how I feel about black women. And I'm only talking about the Black Manosphere. So the weaponization of the preferences began. Some men used their access to non black women as a status symbol. I'm a professional athlete. I got to get me a white woman. I'm a professional rapper. I got to get me a Latino. I'm a nobody. I got to get me anybody I can just so she's not black. So they broadcasted their access as proof of them leveling up. They framed black women as undesirable to justify their choices. And this hurt black women deeply, and I think that has to be noted. This was deeply hurtful to black women. It was hurtful to me, and I was happily married and had a good black husband. And when I started hearing this, it was hurtful to me. So this was an emotional low point for black women. Even there were kids, there were high school boys posting videos about how they didn't like black girls and how they made fun of black girls and how they would do two lines and they would have the white girl on one line and the black girl on the other and they would all run to the white girl line. So this got to be a thing of mocking black women. This was the degradation of black women by a subset of black men. And it was profoundly hurtful, but it was the beginning of the liberation of black women. And now, the unexpected plot twist: global visibility. The more these black men in the manosphere and their allies rejected black women online, the more the world noticed black women. Non black men who previously had limited proximity or exposure to black women began openly expressing admiration. Men who had not known how to approach black women because black women have shown fierce loyalty to black men. So other men didn't feel like they had a chance. But now these non black men began approaching black women. And then we get what? The black wife effect. And social media weighed in on the side of black women. Social media amplified black women's beauty, style, the humor of black women, the strength, and the femininity. So the cultural influence of black women was amplified on social media. And that was the beginning of liberation. The black wife effect took social media by surprise. The black wife effect shows how men, especially non black men, often glow up socially, professionally, and aesthetically when they partner with a black woman. It trends because it's visible, consistent, and culturally undeniable. So you can't deny that other races of men don't find black women desirable when they're on social media showing you that they find black women desirable. So the black wife effect reframes black women not only as desirable, but as transformative. These men claim that they were made better because of their relationship with black women. And so now there's a new awareness among Black women. Black women have realized that they were never limited to one group of men. Black women realized that desirability isn't defined by the loudest voices online. They also realized that Black men don't speak for everybody. Black men don't speak for all of the men in the world. And Black women had to learn that what one man won't like, another man will love. Black women also realized that there is global appreciation for them. So the Manosphere's attempt to diminish Black women ironically expanded their dating pool and global visibility. So Black women became free, free from the illusion that loyalty must be one sided. Because if your loyalty is only one sided, it's not going to benefit you at all. So, in trying to convince the world that Black women weren't wanted, the Manosphere accidentally showed the world exactly why Black women are wanted. So Black women didn't lose value, they gained perspective. So I will end with this. Black women still overwhelmingly prefer Black men. The majority of Black men that are married to Black women, and the majority of Black women that are married to Black men. So Black men and Black women are still going strong. But the manosphere, this subset of Black men who really don't find Black women desirable, have done something very important. They have been honest about how they feel about Black women. And I think that's a good thing because it has freed Black women of the negative energy of men who don't find them desirable and allow them to embrace the men that do. So now Black men and Black women can move forward with clarity, choosing mates that they can build healthy and happy relationships with. And that's going to make all communities better. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about this video. Thank you for listening and have a great day.